alone, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wildlife Rights Foundation's efforts to address the missing link in all current conservation efforts and to finally stopping the increasing pace of species extinction. Humanity has finally reached a consensus that one of the main and most critical issues facing each and every one of us today is the increasing pace of species extinction. Humanity is currently not only plagued by the complex phenomenon of unpredictable climate change and global warming, but also the phenomenon called the mass extinction event. The last mass extinction event 65 million years ago was presumably caused by an asteroid striking the Earth, which led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. The current mass extinction event is being caused by the human population explosion, the irresponsible and unsustainable utilization of Earth's resources for short-term benefits, indiscriminate habitat destruction, the climate crisis, pollution, global warming, multiplied by the human population explosion is driving more than 5 million species to extinction. Entire ecosystems face irreversible chain reaction collapse leading to biodiversity loss and collapse. Biodiversity collapse disrupts the ecosystem services, the Earth's life support systems and delicate interspecific interdependence crucial to life on Earth, and will lead to the deaths of billions of people. As we speak, 3 to 10 species are lost every day. Species whose role in these ecosystem services we can't even begin to comprehend at this point, but whose loss will impact our very own existence with devastating consequences. Throughout the Earth's vast ecosystems reserves like the tropical forests, indiscriminate habitat destruction accounts for the loss of thousands of kilometers of habitat due to logging, mining, ranching and other human activities. Literally countless animals are being massacred and captured in the most gruesome manner to supply the illegal trade in wildlife and habitat products. In a bid to address this species loss, the Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species CITES was established to ensure that the trade in wildlife and plant species doesn't threaten their survival. The illegal trade in wildlife and habitat specimen has been banned and is monitored by traffic. However, this illegal trade in wildlife has increased from $20 billion less than 10 years ago to a shocking $160 billion by 2009. At this rate, it's clear that extinction is unstoppable in spite of the efforts of countless wildlife conservation initiatives and literally thousands of conservationists present and active in all major global ecosystems. One wonders what's being done wrong. The answer is hidden in the fact that 1. Wildlife and habitat are still considered national heritages, properties and resources at the disposal of the priorities of the nations where they are found. 2. The individualist approach to species protection and conservation. Most conservation initiatives are aimed at a specific species, and yet the traffickers and dealers work across the board, targeting any species that can be sold. Everything is done locally, and yet very little is done to address the national, regional and international transportation, trafficking and trade. 3. The absence of legally binding and enforceable international wildlife and habitat laws. All our current wildlife and habitat laws, treaties, accords etc. aimed at protecting these endangered species are either not legally binding internationally or are largely non-enforceable. 4. The fact that humanity has failed to answer the following crucial questions. 8. How can we keep endangered species alive if they don't have the right to life? B. How can we protect endangered species if they don't have the right to be protected? C. How can we keep healthy populations of endangered species if they don't have the right procreation within the limits of their carrying capacities? 5. That wildlife and habitat crimes can't be addressed internationally due to the quagmire of legal jurisdiction, the absence of mandate and or the authority to prosecute these crimes. At this point, wildlife crimes can only be prosecuted in the countries where they are committed. But we all know that it's literally impossible to prosecute multinational consortiums working, for example, in the logging, transport or mining sectors in third world countries where they commit most of these crimes. Why? Simply because these multinationals are simply too powerful, too wealthy, and owing to the prevailing corruption, can and will squash any attempt to prosecute them in third world countries. It's therefore necessary to be able to take legal action against wildlife crimes, not only in the countries where they are committed but also at ports internationally where these crimes are detected, or even in the home countries of these companies where they are registered. 6. The protection of species under cities also relies on the governments to implement these treaties. Unfortunately, the last reserves of the most endangered species are found in third world countries, without the means or resources to either monitor or protect these species, let alone have conservation as a priority. Countries plagued by civil strife, political instability and corruption are expected to protect these endangered species as if extinction of these species is a national loss. Species extinction is a global loss, and therefore wildlife and habitats should be considered global heritages, protected by the international community, with legally binding and enforceable wildlife and habitat laws. Endangered species are not resources or properties, but deserve the right to life and protection. Between the supply of the wildlife habitats and these regional and international markets, like criminals like unscrupulous animal dealers facilitating, propagating and perpetrating these crimes, generating the demand and ensuring the supply for private individualistic short-term benefits. Bushmeat, skins, hides, fur, pets and other products leave the local community areas, and are transported vast distances to regional and international markets to meet the demand. Please take a moment to imagine the horrors of these gruesome atrocities: iron traps being set up to shatter limbs of innocent wildlife, snares that will strangulate and even amputate limbs of unsuspecting wildlife, pits with sharp rods at the bottom, spears, bows and arrows will inflict fatal wounds. For the capture of pets, entire families will be massacred with automatic weapons. Animals will be skinned alive for their fur, skins and hides. Horns will be sawed off still living animals. Survivors and victims will then be subjected to excruciating and the most inhumane forms of storage and transport to markets. I cannot fathom how we humans, the most intelligent, sophisticated and developed species on Earth, can not only subject another living thing to such treatment but allow this to still continue. Examples: the last 4 individuals of the northern white rhino population in the wild, that were located in Garampa National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo, were left to the protection of the Congolese rangers with the financial support of the international conservation community. By the end of 2008, this species was officially declared extinct in the wild, and we all stand in shock at the passing of yet another species. Consider what's happening to wildlife in Zimbabwe, or the leopard population in Lake Mburo National Park in Uganda, where more than half of the park was given to local farmers for ranching, creating a problem animal control issue in the first place and later attempting to solve it by getting sport hunting approved by sites on this critically endangered species. The northern white rhino wouldn't have gone extinct if there was a United Nations mandate to protect them. They wouldn't have gone extinct if they had the fundamental right to life, protection and procreation in their in situ habitats. They wouldn't have gone extinct if there was an international institution mandated to prosecute wildlife and habitat crimes. And lastly, the northern white rhino wouldn't have gone extinct if the prosecution of the perpetration of wildlife and habitat crimes was not limited by jurisdiction. Ladies and gentlemen, extinction is a fact and isn't stoppable unless the human race hearkens to the cries of our endangered species and answers their call to life. As founder of the Wildlife Rights Foundation and In Situ Wildlife Conservation Organization, I solemnly appeal to your human nature and compassion to life and call upon every woman, man and child to say no to extinction and join hands with our effort to the following: 1. International investigation, documentation and prosecution of wildlife and habitat crimes. 2. The creation of legally binding and enforceable wildlife and habitat laws. 3. The creation of a fundamental wildlife rights to life, protection and procreation in the in situ habitats. 4. The creation of an official organ of the United Nations mandated to protect wildlife and habitats. 5. The creation of an international wildlife and habitat crimes court similar to the International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice. For details on how you can be a part of this effort, please contact us today. Thank you.